They say dogs have short memories. We forget where we left our chew toys or why we decided to chase the neighbor's cat up the wrong tree. But if you think we forget the important things, you're wrong. Dead wrong. Let me tell you about those walks I used to have in the forest with my best friend. We're talking years ago, back when my face was a little less wrinkled and I still had the enthusiasm to chase after squirrels without pulling something in my leg. My best friend was Max, a mutt with 1,000 breeds mixed in. Some might say he had a unique look, but come on, let's face it. He looked like someone had taken all the rejected dog parts, mashed them together, and called it a dog. We both knew he wasn't winning any beauty contests, but he was still the most loyal friend I ever had. Back then, our human liked to take us for these long hikes in the forest. I always thought the forest was one big green buffet, so many smells, plants, and occasionally animal surprises I could roll in. Max, on the other hand, he loved to run. His little legs, don't ask me how he managed to run with those stumpy things, could carry him through trees, over logs, and through muddy puddles. I swear he could outrun half the critters we stumbled upon, which is saying something considering he looked like a lumpy potato on stilts. Those were the days. The forest seemed like an endless adventure, filled with twists, turns, and smells that could make a hound dog jealous. Max and I would chase birds, sniff out tracks, and sometimes, if we were really lucky, we'd find a bone someone forgot. Oh, the thrill. I remember how we'd dig up little treasures like pieces of wood that tasted like heaven, or a random leaf that was somehow better than the last 10 we'd sniffed. And we'd compete. Oh, would we compete? It was like a silent understanding. Whoever found the smelliest thing was the winner. One time I found a dead fish near the stream. Now, I don't mean a fresh fish either. I'm talking about one of those that probably saw the last ice age. It smelled worse than Max after rolling in the mud for 3 hours. But I carried it in my mouth with pride, and Max just stared at me, probably thinking, "How did you get so lucky, Frank?" That was my moment of glory. We'd spend hours out there, and when we finally made it back to the car, we'd be covered in dirt, leaves, and the occasional tick. Our human would look at us with that resigned face that only dog owners know, shake their head and laugh. That was happiness. Pure, messy happiness. I don't remember when it started, but one day, Max just couldn't keep up the way he used to. He'd still run ahead, barking his head off like he was king of the world, but after a few minutes, he'd start to lag behind. I remember thinking, "Come on, Max, what's up? You're not getting soft on me, are you?" But there was something different in his eyes. He was tired, a kind of tired I hadn't seen before. Our human noticed it too. After that, we started taking shorter walks. Instead of racing up hills and diving into bushes, we'd just walk at Max's pace. I didn't mind at first. I'd still get to sniff around, dig a little here and there, but there was something missing. It was like our wild days were slowly slipping away, and no matter how many times I nudged Max or barked at him to speed up, he just looked at me with that gentle, tired look. I could almost hear him say, "I'm trying, Frank. I really am." After a while, it became clear that Max couldn't come to the forest anymore. He'd stay at home, and I'd go out with our human. At first, I thought maybe he'd join us later, like he was just taking a break or something. But he didn't. I remember the first time I went back to our favorite spot alone. I looked around, sniffing every inch of the path we used to run through, hoping to find some trace of him. But all I found was the silence. I can't describe how strange it felt. The forest seemed bigger, emptier, without him running beside me, tripping over roots, or barking at birds like they'd actually care. I tried to fill the silence, barking at random squirrels, rolling in anything I could find, even dragging sticks back to our human. But it wasn't the same. Nothing was the same. One day, we didn't even go to the forest. Our human took me and Max to a place that smelled strange, like a mix of fear and sadness.